Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when the mirror stops reflecting your true self, not because you are lost, but because your spirit begins to dim beneath the weight of fear, judgment, and self doubt. You look at yourself and wonder, am I enough? You question your abilities, your worth, and your place in the world. But let me remind you of one beautiful truth. Confidence is not something you are born with, it is something you build layer by layer, choice by choice. And when you begin to see yourself not through the eyes of the world, but through the lens of self love and courage, you rise, you shine, you become unstoppable. Today, I invite you on a journey where you learn to walk hand in hand with your flaws and yet stand tall, a journey where you build a voice so powerful that it silences the noise of doubt. Let's dive into 5 life-changing tips to boost your confidence, and in doing so, breathe life back into the fire that once flickered within you. Number 1, embrace your imperfections. There is a silent battle many of us fight every single day, a war against our reflection. We stand in front of the mirror and notice every flaw, every wrinkle, every scar that life has etched upon us. We look at our lives and count every failure, every regret, and every missed opportunity as proof that we are somehow less. But what if those very imperfections were not signs of weakness, but symbols of strength? What if everything you tried to hide was the very thing that made you worthy, human, and beautiful? You were never meant to be flawless. You were meant to be real. And being real means having moments where you fall apart, times when you don't have it all together, seasons where you lose your way. But it is within these raw and unfiltered experiences that true strength emerges. The world might try to define you by your mistakes, but you have the power to define yourself by your resilience. The broken pieces you carry are not baggage, they are your battle medals. It takes courage to stand tall with wounds still healing. It takes boldness to say, yes, this is who I am, unpolished, imperfect, and proud. You no longer need to seek validation by covering your cracks. When you embrace your imperfections, you give others the permission to embrace theirs too. And in that vulnerable space, confidence begins to grow, not as arrogance, but as quiet self-acceptance. Confidence does not bloom in the shadow of perfection. It blossoms in the sunlight of self-compassion. You begin to walk with a different grace when you're no longer at war with yourself. You smile not because you have everything, but because you finally learn to love what you do have. And in that moment, your scars become your strength, your pain becomes your poetry, and your imperfections become your power. Number 2, speak kindly to yourself. There is a voice that lives within you. It speaks not just when you talk aloud, but when you're quiet, when no one is watching, when the world has gone silent, and you're left alone with your thoughts. That voice can either be your greatest cheerleader or your harshest critic. Sadly, too many of us have internalized years of criticism and turned them into our inner truth. But the moment you choose to speak to yourself with love, the healing begins. You would never speak to a friend the way you speak to yourself when you're disappointed. You wouldn't call them a failure for making a mistake or unworthy for struggling. Then why do you say those things to yourself? Why do you let your mind bully your heart into silence? The words you feed your soul matter. They become the beliefs you live by, the lens through which you see the world, and the limits you place on your own potential. Speak to yourself with grace. Remind yourself of your worth, even when you falter. Replace I can't with I'm learning. Replace I'm not good enough with I am growing every day. It may feel strange at first, even dishonest, but with time, those words will settle into your spirit and begin to bloom. The more love you speak inward, the more peace you carry outward. And peace is the foundation upon which true confidence stands. Your voice has the power to either build or break you. Choose to build. Choose to stand in front of the mirror and say, I am proud of you. Even if the world remains silent, be the voice that says, you're doing just fine. Because confidence doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers through the quiet affirmations we speak when no one else is around. Number 3. Celebrate small wins. The world often applauds the big moments, the promotions, the trophies, the grand achievements, but no one claps when you get out of bed on a day when your soul feels heavy. No one sees the strength it takes to keep going when you feel like falling apart, but those small victories matter. In fact, they are the foundation of your confidence. Because each small win is proof that you are trying, that you are moving, and that you have not given up. We underestimate the power of progress. We think confidence comes when we achieve something huge. But confidence is not a destination, it's a journey built one step at a time. It's when you speak up in a meeting even though your voice shakes. It's when you set a boundary that you used to be too afraid to set. It's when you look back and realize that yesterday's you wouldn't have survived today's battle, but you did. When you learn to celebrate the little moments, you give your spirit the acknowledgement it has long craved. You begin to feel seen not by others but by yourself. And that's where true empowerment lies. Confidence grows when you start honoring your effort, even when the outcome isn't perfect. Because it's not about how fast you're moving, but about the fact that you're still moving. Start recording your small wins, write them down, speak them aloud, share them with those who uplift you. These are not insignificant moments. These are the stepping stones to a stronger, braver version of yourself. The more you recognize them, the more you trust your ability to rise again tomorrow. And that quiet, steady belief in yourself is what builds unshakable confidence. Number 4. Step out of your comfort zone. There's a false sense of safety in staying where everything feels familiar. The routine, the known, the predictable. It may feel comfortable, but it also keeps you caged. Growth never happens in comfort. Confidence never blossoms in safety. You have to be willing to step into the unknown, to walk into spaces that scare you, to say yes to opportunities that challenge you. The first time you speak in public, your voice might shake. The first time you say no instead of pleasing others, your heart might race. The first time you apply for a dream job, self-doubt may scream louder than hope. But do it anyway. Because each time you dare to do what you once feared, you rewrite your story. You prove to yourself that fear is not a wall, it's a door waiting to be opened. Confidence is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to act in spite of it. The more you show up, the more you realize you're capable of handling more than you thought. Every uncomfortable experience teaches you something new about your resilience. You begin to carry the memory of each victory as fuel for your next challenge. You start to trust your strength even when the world feels uncertain. So take the step, apply for it, speak up, stand out. Raise your hand when every part of you wants to stay invisible. Not because you're ready, but because you're willing. And willingness is the first spark of courage, and courage is the soil in which confidence grows. Number 5. Surround yourself with uplifting energy. Your environment is not just physical, it's emotional. The people around you are not just companions, they are mirrors. They reflect back what they see in you. If they see your light and celebrate it, you shine brighter. But if they constantly dim your glow, you start to question your brilliance. You deserve to be around people who speak life into your dreams, not those who sow seeds of doubt. Choose your circle wisely. Not everyone who smiles at you wants to see you rise. Some people are more comfortable with your insecurity than your confidence. But you don't owe anyone your silence, your shrinking, or your suffering. You owe yourself peace, support, and spaces where you feel safe to be fully you. Let go of relationships that feel heavy and hold tight to those who lighten your soul. You'll find your confidence grow naturally when you are in the company of those who uplift you. People who remind you of who you are when you forget. People who don't compete with your growth but celebrate your progress. These are the people who help you rebuild your self-belief on days when it feels fragile. Their love becomes the wind beneath your wings. And suddenly you find yourself soaring. You are not meant to walk this journey alone, but you are meant to walk it with people who make you feel stronger, not smaller. Surround yourself with voices that echo your worth, with hands that hold you up, with hearts that believe in your magic. Because when you are rooted in uplifting energy, confidence becomes not just a feeling, it becomes a way of being. At the end of the day, confidence is not found in the noise of applause, nor is it built in the spotlight of perfection. It is born in silence, in the quiet moments when you choose to keep going, when you decide to love yourself despite the chaos, and when you rise with trembling hands but an unshaken heart. True confidence isn't about being fearless, it's about dancing with your fears, standing tall beside your flaws, and embracing the journey with a heart full of grace. The power to transform your life has always been within you. It begins when you choose to embrace your imperfections, to speak with kindness to the soul within you, to honor the smallest victories as monumental steps, to walk through the doors that fear once kept shut, and to surround yourself with souls who water your roots and never question your bloom. Every choice you make in favor of self-love becomes a brick in the foundation of your self-worth. Confidence is not a garment you wear on certain days, it is the skin of your spirit. It does not scream for validation, it whispers strength in moments of doubt. It grows not from proving others wrong, but from proving to yourself that you are already enough. You are capable, worthy, and deserving of the life you dream of, not someday. Not after you fix yourself, but right here, right now, as you are. So step forward. Not with arrogance, but with certainty. Carry your story like armor, your voice like light, and your presence like a quiet revolution. Because the world doesn't need more perfect people, it needs more brave souls who believe in their light and let it shine unapologetically. Let today be the day you choose confidence, not as an act, but as your truth.